Hello! Making quizzes in Canvas is very similar to many other online quiz building programs that are out there. To make a quiz, first thing, we're back to this course that we use to show you how to make modules quickly. We do have an intro quiz that we set up through the modules that we can click on, or we could also go to quizzes, which will show us a list of all the quizzes we created, and we'll click on the intro quiz this way. So again, we've created the quiz, but it has nothing to it. So let's go to the edit button up here on top. And let's set up some of the basics of the quiz. So it's called Intro Quiz. Just like creating assignments and discussions, we get the same generic text box where we can type in some general directions, what we want the kids to do. And again, you can embed videos, embed links, do whatever you want to in here. Let's go down to the basic features. So what type of quiz is it going to be? It can be a practice quiz where you're really not giving them a grade for it. Maybe you're giving them some points just for attempting it, but it can be a graded quiz, a graded survey, ungraded survey. Most of the time you're probably going to do a graded quiz, so we'll keep it on graded quiz. Where is it going to go? We only have one folder right now we can put things in just called assignments. And you do have an option to shuffle the answers. So the questions will be in the same order for all of the students, but you can shuffle the answers around so they're not the same for all of the students. Now, a lot of times a question will come up, it's like, well, what if I want the kids to not see all of the same questions? Well, Canvas has an option to create a quiz bank where you could make a folder with 5 similar questions and just tell it to randomly give one of those questions to each of the students, or randomly give them all 5 questions in a different order. So we'll talk about that in the intermediate section. Do you want to give them a time limit? How long can it take, or will it take for them to take the quiz? Do you want to allow multiple attempts at this quiz? And what score would you like to keep? The highest, the latest, or the average? So these can be useful if you're giving something like a safety quiz where you want them to get 100%, but your grade's going to be based on the average of the number of attempts it took. How many attempts do you want to allow? Do you want to let the students see their quiz responses? You know, either right after the attempt or see them at a certain date. Do you only want to show one question at a time on this quiz? Do you want them to require an access code to get into it? Filter IP addresses, that's next to impossible for us to do because we don't know all of our computer's IP addresses, our students' IP addresses, so it's there as an option. Who do you want to assign it to, just like quizzes and discussions? Everyone or individual students, give them a due date, available to, and when. So those are the basic quiz features that you can set up in the details section. Now, you would go back up here to the top and you would go to the questions tab. So now you're ready to add new questions. And question groups, we'll talk about those in the intermediate section, but add a new question. So what type of question do you want to have? And I'm just going to call this question number 1. And it defaults to multiple choice, but you see you have a variety of different type of questions that you can use. Experiment with them. Some of them are pretty straightforward, but other ones will give you a little bit of a discussion, like some of the matching or the multiple drop downs. You know, you have to play with them a little bit and you know, follow the instructions how to put them in. But we'll do a basic multiple choice. Is the sky, what color is the sky? Okay, so you can give us some answers. So by default it says the first one's the correct answer. We'll just go, you know, blue and white. Okay, and other possible answers. And again, if you want more or less answers, you can drop that. So I only have 3 multiple choices, but you can add another response. You can click whichever one you want the kids to be giving you as the correct answer. Remember that if you check the box to shuffle the answers, you can keep the first one be the correct one every time. But if you don't shuffle the answers, then you better make sure that you're clicking on whichever one is the correct answer for this assignment. Update question. Do not forget to hit the update question. Even if you hit save, if you don't hit the update question, you'll lose the question. So you have to update question every time. And then you can say, let's add a new assignment. And you could go with a basically just an essay questions, which means they'll get this text box to answer the question by. So you would give them the question here, update question, and they will get a text box in order to answer it. So I'll hit save right now, save that quiz the way it's going. You can hit the preview button and preview this yourself. And notice how it's randomizing the answers because I chose to do that. There would be the question for number 2, and here's their essay box where they can type in their responses. Notice they get the same tools for embedding and linking and doing everything else. So you get a lot of options with these quizzes. You can submit it when you're done for grading, but I'm just going to go back and keep editing this quiz. Okay, and those are the basics of how to create a quiz. And again, we'll look at some more of the advanced features a little later on in a different session. So good luck, have fun, give it a try.